As a sports correspondent, 2016 has been an absolute dream year for me. I ended up in New York for Carl Frampton's world title fight against Leo Santa Cruz. A very memorable occasion, one I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
I get a wee bit emotional sometimes talking about it, to be honest, because I feel like I'm in a lucky situation.
I spent a week in County Kildare at the K Club where Rory McIlroy won his first tournament of the year. He had never won the Irish Open, and every player wants to win their home Open. So it was a very special week and a really nice build up into the Euros.
The players, the management, the fans all know that they're on the verge of something very special.
I've covered Northern Ireland for over 10 years now, and you get used to losing, put it that way. We had not expected Northern Ireland to get out of the group stages. I don't think anybody did. So we had planned a travel day to come home, and that day was actually on my birthday. It turned out to be the busiest day of my professional career.
What have the Northern Irish side made of getting Wales?
Nick Hartley and I were on ITV Wales at 6 o'clock. We were then back to back on UTV at 6:15, and then we were on ITN at 6:45.
Quite something, this Ruth. Do they fancy their chances?
Yes, this really is a game that both sides
It was quite amazing that all the coverage turned out to be about Northern Ireland and Wales instead of England for a change.
Ruth Gorman, UTV Live at the Stade de Nice.
UTV has just joined ITV this year, so because of that I hadn't much experience of working with the sports correspondents from the other regions. At the Euros that all changed, and I have to say it was really lovely to be part of the family and feel part of a much bigger team. That was a birthday I will never forget, and it was actually quite a nice end to the day because the Irish Football Association presented me with a birthday cake, so I was able to get a nice relaxing cup of tea at the end of what turned out to be a very busy day.
So my year in stories is referendum.
For you, the burning issue for many. Is your household better off or worse off in the EU?
From the beginning, we were quite bold about just saying who was talking rubbish and who was actually in the right.
If things go well, the economy could go over the other side.
I hope no one from MINY will watch this. I think we did damage the MINY, and they didn't say anything. Because it was quite heavy-duty filming. It wasn't Top Gear, but there was quite a few reverse pieces to camera.
Let's just back up a second.
Can I bring a leg in? Can you imagine David Cameron?
The academics are telling us behind the scenes that there's now a 75% possibility that there's going to be a Brexit, as we didn't call it then.
And we are now saying here at ITV that there is a 75% probability of a Leave win.
Jeff Hill decided to turn that behind-the-scenes predictability model into an on-camera one, and it was a genius decision. It's a moment I will never, ever forget.
ITV News analysis came up on screen a few moments ago. There was an almighty roar in this room.
I know from reading all the books that have already been written about the referendum, and also from talking to contacts, it was when ITV called it. They will always remember.
So here at ITV News at just gone 4:30 in the morning, we are calling it for Leave to Win.
But since then, my team, the national team, we've gone off to dig elsewhere. The particular item I'm very proud of is something we did about going country.
The police call it county lines. Children call it going country. It's a dangerous world where kids as young as 12 are sent hundreds of miles away from home to sell drugs in coastal resorts.
That's what you want to do as a journalist. You want to tell people things they have never heard of before. I want to learn from ITN that direct broadcasting with impact. People make decisions very quickly. They didn't make decisions quickly at the BBC. And it just feels you're that much closer to TX, to transmission. You know, here's a decision, go and do it. It feels more nimble. It really does feel like that.
Brand is essential. It's making sure that people understand that they're watching ITV News. The accessibility thing with the graphics is one of the key things that we've picked up on this year. It started really with the EU ref, and it's basically the way that we conveyed the information to the viewer was, I think, one of the most successful things that ITV News did.
Highest proportions of the population who are...
They just kept everything very clean, very accessible to the viewer. So when they tuned in, they knew where they were with the vote and where the numbers were falling and how things were stacking up.
Get to the politics of Westminster, the Prime Minister...
We did actually break a couple of technological boundaries with what we did. as opposed to our competition. It's never been done that way before. No one's actually managed to have another video screen in the same virtual space, displaying all the information, being all up to date at the same time.
Well, you can see for yourselves, Leave ahead.
The presenters, the talent, the writers, the story was the key thing. Our graphics just simply amped the ability of our teams to tell that story and tell it really effectively.
We're talking about the impact. Let's be honest, the night has suddenly shifted tone.
It's about giving them the confidence that in a big green room, everything will be happening while they're waving their arms around in the air.
In answer to that question,
it's important that we have a very polished and professional look, but it's also vital that we can tell the story with the numbers. Did do the News at 10 relaunch, which was a great success. I really like the new titles. In fact, was working on them at the conference last year in my room. It's really nice when you come to a debrief and you get, that was a great package, as opposed to that was a great graphic highlighted in the package, because you want everything to be of a level where it's just seamless, doesn't get in the way of the news, doesn't get in the way of the story, and that we are a complementary asset. Still like getting that's a good graphic, especially for the guys in the team.